Welcome in. Thank you all for being here for an exciting conversation within our Dream Job webinar series as we head into November. And today we're joined by Amit Shkolnik, who will talk to us about AI and machine learning and whatever else falls in that conversation. He does a great job of breaking it down, making it understandable, and I'm excited for the students to hear that. So thank you, Amit, for being here, and I'll bring you into the discussion in just a moment, so hang tight. We have Jen here, as always, our sign language interpreter. Thank you. And as you come in the room, please continue to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us what kind of class you're in, and as you do, I want to share, as we always do, and we had the same resource last time, but we have a lot of new faces today. So I want to share a resource that we offered in our last conversation. My name is Danny Rubin, and I'm the founder of Rubin. We provide resources for business communication skills. And one thing that we love to put together for students and teachers are email guides. And what we put together here, what you're seeing on the screen, is a collection of email templates, examples for different situations, like applying for a job, asking about internships, letter of recommendation, asking someone to be a reference. And if you would like these email examples as a starting point for your own conversations, then I'll explain what you need to do on the next screen. All you need to do, fix that, is to go to the chat right now and type the word interested and your email address in the chat. And what we'll do is, if you're brand new to our community, never been here before, this is for the teachers. Teachers, request this, please. The teachers, if you're new to our community, will set a time to connect with you on Thursday, the 9th, for just a few minutes, so that we can make sure you get to this content and help you make plans for how to share this content, not just with your class, but with your school. So please put your name and interested in the chat as a teacher, and we will contact you tomorrow if you are new to our community. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that, and then I'll do a reminder again at the end. But we'd love to share examples and put good content out into schools to help students communicate. And one more thing to note, everybody here today live will receive a certificate on Thursday as well for being here. So you can have proof of being part of our session today. Okay? All right. So with that, let me bring in Amit to the conversation. Thank you for taking time from your busy day to talk with us. Let's start with talking about the work, like your sort of career a little bit, how you have gained experience with AI and the types of projects you've done to give you that kind of knowledge. Tell us a little about that.
Okay, thank you very much. First, let me apologize for my English. I'm not American. I live in Jerusalem, Israel. So this is my English. And before I start, I would like to ask two questions. Maybe some of you can answer on the chat.
Thank you.
And we will see if maybe I will be surprised by your answers, and maybe later on you will be surprised by my answers. So the question are, what skills does AI expert need? And this is question number one. And the second question is, what does AI expert is doing most of his day? So for the last 15 years, I have been working in this world of as AI developer, expert, advisor. And I've been working on many projects. For example, in the biomedical world, we develop a system that help researcher cutting time in the researchers, because as you know, biomedical researchers need to read hundreds and thousands of academic papers in order to organize their knowledge. So we develop a tool that read the papers for them and summarize them in structured data, like a table that say, this gene is responsible for this chemical response in the human body, etc., etc., etc. So they don't have to read all the paper. On another project, we analyzed posts written by a teenager on social networks. The idea is to identify whether someone is suffering from psychological stress and in order to offer mental support. On another project, we are analyzing surveys filled by citizens. The surveys are conducted by the Israeli Central Bureau of Statistics, and people are being asked, what is the name of your employer, what this company is doing, what are you doing in the company, and they answer in free text, and we are analyzing their answers in order to categorize them into economical activity standard. And this is used, of course, later by the government to manage the economy in the country. So as you understand, what I'm doing is mostly what we call natural language processing, which is a subcategory of AI. In the AI world, we have three categories: natural language processing, which is very popular nowadays with the ChatGPT; image processing, which is widely used for autonomous cars, drones, whatever; and data science, where we anticipate or we interpret data, structured data, medical data, climate data, etc., in order to anticipate different issues.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's a good place to start. And I do, what Amit asked, and I still love to see the students' answers. He said, what do you think an AI expert does all day at work? Can you go to the chat, teachers or students, tell us what you think someone like Amit is doing all day? And also, while you do that, I also want to encourage the teachers and students to go to the Q&A section along the bottom row. Start to submit your own questions for him, and we will pick out questions and ask as we go along. So you shared a lot of good information there, Amit, and I shared in the chat, you said, natural language processing, image processing, data science. And I'd like for you to, for those who may not be completely familiar, and we'll see some of these other answers come through, what is natural language processing? What does that mean? And what is an example, in the world that we could connect that with?
Okay, so in natural language processing, we are processing text. It's a weird name. I don't know who came with it first, but all we are doing is processing text, just like ChatGPT, which is very popular. But in fact, whatever we do in AI, the outcome is a mathematical model. Yes. If you look inside ChatGPT, you open it's a huge file of hundreds and hundreds of gigas, but you can go to sites like Hugging Face, and you can download a small LLM, large language model. This is the professional name for a language model like ChatGPT. It's a big file there. It can be half a gigabyte. It can be 10 gigabyte, depends on the model. And you open it. Inside, there is just number. This is what we call neural networks. The network is this big grid, like a huge Excel filled with number. And then when we have a new previously unseen data, we just push it into this grid of numbers, we do some multiplications, and the answer is the outcome of this multiplication. I know it sounds weird, but this is reality. So bottom line, natural language processing is just representing our language as a mathematical model. The problem is that human language is so rich that it's just impossible to represent it as in a mathematical model. For example, if you take a very common words sentence, one sentence in English from some song or something, and you try to calculate how many mathematical combination is there. Like, if let's say that this sentence have 3 words, and if each word has 3 possible meanings, how many mathematical combination is there? 3 double 3 double 3, it's 27. Okay, that's a nice number. But if you really check it the average sentence in English has hold the 22 words, then the number is going high as billions of mathematical possibilities. I know it sounds weird, because our human brain, when we hear a sentence or when we read a sentence, come over all those complications. I mean, in a millisecond, we understand the correct meaning of this sentence, and we never think that one sentence can hold billions of possible meanings. Like, if I'm saying a book, do I mean a book to read, or do I mean the verb of booking something?
Right.
But this is reality, believe me. Mathematically, a common sentence holds billions of possible meanings, and it's very hard to represent it in mathematical model. So this is what we are doing in natural language processing. Until recently, like in 20 days, it will be 1 year since ChatGPT was launched. Until then, I mean, ChatGPT, no question, it's a huge revolution in our world. It will change the world as we know it. We all need to understand that soon, in 5 years, we won't, I mean, a newborn, sorry, if you are today, if you are an 18 years old student, if you have a young brother that is now, let's say, 2-3 years old, he will grow in a world that you will tell him about the world before 2022, like if you were his grandfather, something like that. It's a whole different world. So
let me thank you. I want to share a couple of answers to your question. I mean, Chris Williams said, AI experts meet with stakeholders, code, collaborate with team members. And Mahir says, AI developers work on creating and improving artificial intelligence systems. AI developers write code, test algorithms, and analyze data to train AI models. But this is my opinion. That's
okay.
Good. So thank you for that's what the students said. And I do want to say, I want to give credit, because Dwight Finlay in the Q&A section was asking about where do you see AI going. We can talk more about that. But let's help students understand, like, what do you do all day? Are you working from home right now and you're sort of going between Zoom meetings and just working on different projects, sort of little by little? What does your day look like?
Okay, so on one of the projects I have been working in the last years, it was in some startup, and my nickname in this startup was Amit and the Excels. Okay, why? Because people passing behind my desk, whenever they pass there, what they see on my computer screen was Excels, huge Excels with different kind of data. and this correlates with the answer we get here. AI experts mainly deal with analyzing data. I mean, that's also why I asked you, what skills do you think AI experts need? So usually when I meet people, often when people ask me, what are you, I mean, someone I don't know, and I just meet him, what are you doing in your life? I'm quite embarrassed to say I'm an AI expert because people think if you are an AI expert, you are very smart, you are very good in mathematics, and maybe it's applied to some of the AI experts, but it's not the main issue. I mean, to be good at math is important. To have a degree in computer science or in another science, it's needed. It's better to have a master degree, maybe even a PhD. But what we are doing most of our day professionally is to be information officers. Really. I mean, yes,
What does
because
that mean? Go further. Like, what does an information officer mean to you?
okay, so for example, currently, as I said before, I'm working with the Central Bureau of Statistics to analyze surveys where people are describing what they are doing in their day job. Because the government need to know what kind of economy and what kind of market she's managing. So first, I need to ask myself, does the information given by people in the survey is enough to analyze, to get to understand what they are doing? No. Because often someone will answer, I am working in a company named ABC. What they are doing, it's a factory for food. We produce food. What I'm doing, I am managing some department in this factory, okay? So this is not enough because according to the worldwide standard published by the United Nations, there's 600 different categories for economical activities. And producing food is not one category, there's many categories, like producing dry food, as macaroni, etc., is one category, sweets is another category, salty snacks are a third category. So what this factory is producing there, because this person just answer in natural language, he doesn't really understand what we need to hear from you in order to understand what we need to understand. So now I need my model to, for example, to go to the internet, to search the internet for more information about this factory using the name he gave. And by collecting more text from the internet, maybe I can understand if this factory is producing sweets, biscuits, cakes, whatever. Okay. So it sounds very simple. Yeah, you look at the data and you understand whether it's sufficient or not. How can you process it with different models? We have hundreds of different models in the AI world, but in fact, it's very, very complicated. You just need to stare at the data many hours a day and analyze it and get some conclusion of it, and then go around and search for more data, etc., etc., etc. So if you think that this is a very fascinated world where you do mathematical magics all day long, no. This is a world that fits you if you love reading all kinds of data all day long, like everything. If every piece of paper you see, you just need to pick it and to read it. If you love reading if whatever new terms you hear about, new place, you go to Wikipedia to read about it, then you are on the right place.
That's great. Do we have any students, any hands up if you're like that, if you like going through the data? Because that he's giving you a really good understanding of what this job is. It's going through a lot of data. And just without going too deep into the complexity, I would like you to explain what is a language model. You said you would compare their survey data with a language model, which could then go find information to get you what you need. But what is a language model? How does it sort of come to be?
Okay. So, do you know what acacia is?
A what?
Acacia.
No.
Okay. But if I tell you the following sentence, we were hiking in the desert, it was very hot, so we took a break under the acacia.
Oh, like like a tree?
Yes, it's a
Oh,
tree. It's a kind
okay.
of tree.
Okay.
It's not common in the States, but
Right.
it's very
Right.
common in Australia.
Acacia. Got it.
Acacia, yes.
Okay.
So even if you didn't know previously what acacia is, or you didn't understand because of my accent, then when I say we traveled in the desert, it was hot, so we took a break under an acacia, then you immediately you understand it because of the context, right? Okay. So the way we train a language model like ChatGPT is very simple. We take billions and billions of sentences, and with each sentence, we repeat the same process. We give the model the first word, and we ask him to guess what is the next word. Then we tell him what is really the second word, and we ask him to guess what is the third word, etc., etc., etc. If we repeat this process millions of times, so by this process that the model eventually see what is the correct answer, and previously he doesn't know what the correct answer, the model learn to anticipate to what would be the next word, and the outcome is this huge mathematical grid I described before. In this grid, let's say if the grid today is usually like about 1,000 number per row, and the depth is like also can be 1,000 of rows. So it's summed up to millions and millions and millions of numbers and billions of numbers. But then when we have a new sentence, for example, you say to ChatGPT, good. This is the first word, the very first word in your conversation with ChatGPT. Then the ChatGPT is anticipating what is the next word, which is probably morning. Yes, good morning. How are you today? So what happened then is that GPT is repeating what he did before, but this time he doesn't have the true example. He just anticipate what is statistically is the most probable word to appear after good. Of course, this is a very basic and simple.
Sure. Okay.
This is very basic example, but as I say, the model itself is created by showing the model billions and billions of sentences, and now you understand when you play with ChatGPT, and sometimes it's hallucinating. So look at it next time and you will see that it's just showing the most probable world to be there in the next place.
Okay. That's really helpful. I like that explanation. I want to ask some more questions from the chat. And Carissa Harding and her students had some really good questions. It was more about what you were talking about earlier about 2022 being like when everything changed. Looking out into the future as best you can, what do you think society may look like in 5 years, 10 years, or more, like with AI, or even just one specific part of life,
Okay.
education or transportation or something?
So of course I can't. I'm not a prophet, but
Right, right, right.
let's just look about medicine. Okay, about healthcare services. So developing a new drug or a new medical instrument is a process that today is lasting for 10 years. And the cost is like $1 billion per new drug or more. In few years, this process will be 90% cheaper. I know it's hard to believe, but the whole medical world is going to change dramatically. Why? So let me give you a simple example. A main obstacle that block many medical researchers is to find the candidates to participate in a given research or a trial, okay? Because for a given research, for a given trial, you need to find, let's say, 1,000 people that have a very specific medical condition. It's not one condition, it's many conditions. Like they have to be in the age of X to Y, they need to suffer from a given disease, but not from another disease, and they should have no other disease, or they might have a. So what researchers need to do now is to scan tens of thousands of medical records in order to find people that fit to this research. Now you think about it, like if medical record is like a big Excel, so you can just filter it. No, it's wrong, because medical records is 90% not about our blood test, but about the text that the doctor, our medical doctor is writing in his computer. So you need to read those texts. So now just think what is the cost of a doctor or a nurse or a biological researcher that need to read tens of thousands of records in order to pull out the 1,000 people fit to his research. The cost, for example, for a FDA drug, what we call phase 3, to approve the use of new drug, just to find the candidates, the cost is $30 million average. Wow. $30 million. Now you can ask a tool like GPT. It's not a GPT, but let's say it's a model that you develop. It's a downstream of ChatGPT model. And it can do the same work in a matter of hours, and it will cost like almost nothing. So you save a lot of time, and you save months of work, and you save, out of the $30 million, you will be saving, I don't know, 20 million, 29 million, and you are there. And this applies for every phase of the research. If you go along a biomedical research, you will see that every phase costs tens of millions and hundreds of millions that can be dramatically reduced now. So in a few years, we will have so many new drugs and treatment and medical instruments we can't even think about.
Yep.
And life expectancy and life quality will be extended.
That's right.
According to the.
Well, that is who found that to be a fascinating example. That's one, one example of the power of AI to make a process more efficient. Another question from Kate Welch. Um, and you started talking about it a little bit too, some of the qualifications to work in this field, but students that are in high school right now, what types of classes would you recommend they take that would be available at that level? Math, science, even something else outside of that space too. But what would you suggest they be studying?
Okay, so let's agree that math and science are a must, okay?
Okay.
But it's sorry to be so, I don't know. I'm just repeating what everyone else is saying nowadays. It's all about being
Disciplinary. Yes.
disciplinary, yes. Because in one project, I am working with biomedical researchers, another project with psychological psychiatrics,
Yep.
another project I am working with people dealing with economy and et cetera, et cetera. So how can I create a common language with people from all those fields? How can I understand their world in order to support their effort so I can help them to develop the model they need in their domain. So sorry to say, you need day by day you need to be very multidisciplinary, but from educational point of view, you just need, besides some math and some science, you need to be just well educated. The only advice I can give you is read a lot of book. If you read a lot of book, you gain so much wide knowledge about the world that maybe for example, I love my love is popular history books. Sorry, so it's not very scientific.
Yeah. But that makes, to your point, you're a broad base of knowledge. So to apply to, you don't know what customer is going to show up next.
Yes.
So let me, on that note, because we talk a lot in these sessions about communication skills too. And
Yes.
you're not a native English speaker, but you've certainly learned. But somebody could show up from Israel, from the United States, from Europe, from anywhere. But how do you see communication being important in your work? How do you demonstrate good communication skills with your customers?
Okay, so this is the most important issue. Yes, math is important. Being a good information officer is important, but AI expert, unlike other people in the organization, is not working on his specific domain. You need to communicate with all units in his organization to understand what data they have, what data they need, what model they need. So just like some people wrote before in the chat, I spent much of my time meeting other people, trying to understand the world and to give some holistic view of all the data, of all the needs in the organization. So soft skills are a top priority. The ability, yeah, sorry, I just need so often to listen to people I never met, and I don't even understand what they are doing professionally, what they are doing.
Right.
But I need somehow to understand, to convince them how the AI will support them and how can they shift without any knowledge, how they can shift in this world, and how they and me can work together and build up this model. So communication, to the ability to simplify the AI world so people that have no knowledge and they don't need any knowledge can work with me together on a given project.
Yep.
This is the must. You must be you must have the patience to listen and to speak with people. You need to be good to be able to explain and explain and explain the same issue again and again, sometimes again and again and again in the same week or the same months. This
Well,
is a must.
I love this answer because it's like sometimes even in your technical work, because you work for yourself, right? So you have to step out of that and then sell your services. So you have
Yes.
to, like you said, help them understand how you can help them. And this is how AI will help you. So you have to like promote yourself so they hire you. And then you can go back to doing the technical work they've hired you for, but you have to like change your hat sometimes,
Yes.
and like
Yes.
change your role so you can get the job.
Yeah,
Right?
but it's not because I'm a freelancer. Even if I
Okay, right.
decide one day to be hired by one of the corporation, it's the same because inside the organization, even in a high-tech company, 95% of the people don't even understand the very basic principle of AI. And AI, when you will get into it, when you work on any AI project, then what's unique about AI is that all units in the organization must participate in each and every project. And in each and every project, you will have to meet them again and explain again and understand their world in order to create the model from their data. So
Thank you. We're kind of heading towards the end. And I told you, Amit, it goes fast. It goes fast in here. And I want to just reiterate what I said at the beginning. If people came in a few minutes after we started, we offered a library of email templates. If these are not AI driven, these are written through our company, and they are just based on best practice of how to get responses from people. And if you or your students would like these examples about applying for jobs, internships, follow-up messages, reference requests, just go to the chat, please. Type the word interested and your email address. And again, if you're new to our community, then we'll send you an invite for 5 minutes on Thursday to pass the information along, help you to understand it, and help you to share it with your school. And also, everybody here today will receive a certificate for being part of our session, which I think is fascinating. I learned a lot, and I've spoken with Amit before, and just like he said, you got to tell people like me again and again and again because it's a lot. It's a lot, but he helps us to keep it simple. And I think that's why I was excited he could join us today, because he takes really big things and breaks them down. So Amit, I want to thank you for your time. Can I see some hands up in the Zoom, please, to thank Amit for his time? Because he's got a lot going on, and I thought his examples were so good. Can you tell me in the chat, did everybody learn something today? What's something you learned today? Tell me one thing you're going to take away from today's conversation. Put it in the chat, please. What's one thing you're going to remember? One little nugget that he gave you. Can you tell me what stuck with you? I want to see a couple of these before we depart. And thank you, Jen, for your help, of course. I learned that AI would help. Yes. AI, we got some good stuff here. AI will always need a human behind the LLM. That's what Carissa says. AI can speed up clinical trials and medical research. Hi there, Jennifer. Thanks for being here. Let's see.
I need to make more Excel sheets. Yes.
The importance of soft skills. Audra caught that. And I need to make more Excel sheets. Life expectancy will change. You need to read a lot of data. Helps with time management. How much time is dedicated to analyzing data? So they listened. They learned. And that's what this is all about. Yeah. I like all the Amit and the Excels. It sounds like a band. It's like
Yeah,
a
but this is the sad
hipster
truth.
band. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody being here, and we'll have the recording hopefully up on YouTube soon. And keep an eye out for emails about our future dream jobs. We got a few more coming up this fall semester before we break for the new year. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Amit, very much.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing everybody soon. Have a great rest of the day.